You're now listening to Radio Danzig, broadcasting from the heart of Europe. Tonight's programme was produced in association with Hellcat Media. Volk's Electric Railway. You've just joined me on a bus ride in Brighton on the south coast of England. In a few moments we'll be passing the Palace Pier, built in 1899. Our Victorian ancestors really loved seaside piers. Apart from providing games and shows and other diversions, they were believed to be a source of sea air, a healthier form of air that you could find by going just a little away from the land and into the ocean, or on the end of a pier perhaps. But what if you could do that while taking a kind of sea voyage? Not on an uncomfortable boat which might rock and roll with every wave, but on a safe, predictable platform, a kind of boat on wheels. To the left, the Palace Pier, built in 1899 and still in operation. To the right, the West Pier, built in 1866 and now sadly just a ruin. But what is this? This, my fellow time travellers, is indeed a boat on wheels, and the locals called it Daddy Longlegs. Comfortable seating and flower displays added to the tasteful ambience of the vehicle's interior. I think we could probably learn a lot from the Victorians about travelling in comfort and style. What about adding a Captain Nemo style pipe organ to a vehicle like this? What do you think? Volk's Electric Railway, located in Brighton on the south coast of England, is the world's oldest operating electrical railway. It opened on August the 4th, 1885. The railway had ambitious plans to take passengers beyond the coastline to enjoy the sea air in massive conveyances which would not have looked out of place in a steampunk movie. However, I think that this great idea was probably ahead of its time. Maintaining the tracks, power system and vehicles under those conditions must have been very time-consuming and difficult. Imagine what could have happened if one of the vehicles got stuck in the middle of the seaward run. At first, Magnus Volk, the inventor and proprietor of the electric railway, began his services with a simple and very doable narrow-gauge railway track with a little train that ran along the seafront and took passengers mainly to the Palace Pier. Then in 1897 he introduced the massive and much more ambitious sea-going train. Several days after its launch, a big storm knocked out the entire system, and it didn't run again until July 1897. After which it ran for about 2.5 years without any incidents. At that point, the route's track bed required considerable repairs and maintenance. Being unable to run the train during the 1900 summer period led to considerable financial loss for Magnus Volk. The Brighton Corporation, the city government, had granted Volk permission to lay those submerged tracks, but had simultaneously reserved the right to remove any of them if they interfered with their own plans. In 1901, they exercised that right and removed parts of the track while they were working on the city's sea defences. This effectively ended the Daddy Longlegs project. Brighton's historic electric railway is still in operation. Though these days it runs on a line close to the shore and doesn't go out to sea anymore. It is essentially the same narrow gauge track that the VER began its services with in 1885.